Welcome to my view of the stock market. Today is Monday, December 1. You're looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, which fell 90 points today or 0.38%. You could see the volume was light again today, 21% below the 50-day average here, but higher than last couple of days last week. The Nasdaq today just pulled back to its five. Let me see if I can zoom in here and get some of the details for us. It pulled back to its 5-day moving average. There you see 123 was a 5-day, and the low today was 23,110. That happened at the opening, and then some buyers came in. But you could see here, just not, barely a blip on the radar. We had five, not strong days, following that low there. We had the tantrum day on the 20th when, the odds went down for a rate cut. The market wants a rate cut, and they better get it next Wednesday. And if Powell doesn't deliver a rate cut, this market's going to have a tantrum again, something like that. So they had strong jobs data. The market sold off, had a little bit of a tantrum. Then that Friday, got it together, made a low there of 21,898, and that's your 9% correction from the October 29 high. So you had that 9% correction. We had 5 days up in a row. Today we give some back. It's okay. 90 points. I mean, what were we up last week? Some incredible amount, right? 1,092 points. We give 90 back, uh, or 0.38%. It's okay. You got to kind of expect that after a big move. So coming in today, that's okay. I got to look at the 5-minute chart because overnight there was all sorts of anxiety of the yin carry trade and the bond yields were up, and so we gapped down here in the morning and it made that low fairly early. Yeah, 15 minutes in, 23,110. Then some buyers came in and salvaged the day. It was still not a good day. A lot of chopping around in the market, a rotation into some of the retail names. But the one that got hurt the most was the IWM, the small cap there, the Russells. They were down 1.25% there. So still consolidating into base. That doesn't look bad at all. That pulled back to its five as well today at 240, 244 and change. That's okay. It looks fine. You got to expect some selling here. I think December is going to be a good month, provided that, the Fed doesn't screw it up. As long as we get a rate cut and we're in an interest rate environment where it's coming down, we're going to have multiples expanding. It's not going to happen, every day or every week, but the trend, is going to be higher as long as they're cutting interest rates. All right, I'm not going to go through the Mag 7. When it's down that some of those stocks are down. So anyway, I mentioned that retail today saw the rotation after the Black Friday data showed, U.S. consumer spending. You never bet against the U.S. consumer. We like to spend, we like to buy stuff. I saw the top five things that were bought. It was a Lenovo ThinkPad or AirPad or something, and they had the Apple earbuds or whatever. And so it was a lot of technology stuff that was being bought. And I know from looking at the not Cyber Monday, the Black Friday data from not Salesforce, but Adobe, that there was a lot of luxury items that were sold. And I think that bodes well for Signet Jewelers tomorrow. But I'll get to that in a minute. This is American Eagle Outfitters. They report tomorrow. This is wrong here. They're going to report tomorrow after the close. And speaking of clothes, they're selling a lot of clothes. I think this is just the beginning of a breakout, but they have to deliver the goods. If we look at this on the weekly, yeah, this just looks like a, stage one cup with handle emerging into a stage two base before the print. I think it's going to be a strong print. I'm biased. I own a little bit, small amount, no big deal. It's not going to make or break me, but I just think that their advertising campaign, their marketing to the younger folks, and I just think they have a lot of momentum. And I think their guidance, regardless of the sales this quarter, I think their guidance is going to be strong. You can see this was up today with a lot of volume, the highest volume in the last quarter, probably up 4% move for American Eagle. So looking forward to hearing from them tomorrow. City Trends has been on a roll. It made a new high today, then pulled back to the five, which is fine. We like new highs. Walmart This is one of the Dow Jones component, a retailer. And it broke out and following its earnings, and it's just showing more strength. Dutch Bros got a lot of questions about Dutch Bros for a company that it's not doing much. It's a laggard that did not participate in the Liberation Rally. A lot of people are interested in Dutch Bros. I don't know. It's because I bring it up a lot, but a lot of people on Twitter, especially, just bring it up to me constantly, like Dutch Bros. And I said, hey, this stock has been a dog. It's been a total laggard. And even today, you could say this is a double bottom base here from that 60.22. So that would be the area where I would be looking around $60. Today closed at 59.36. It was upgraded, sold off into the close. And that's what you don't want to see in your stocks, a sell off into the close, this weakness into the close. And we saw a lot of that. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But anyway, some other retail names, just a ton of them. We're doing well today. ZUMZ, this one obviously making new highs, very strong name. Some Monster drinks. This is one of the top stocks this century. Monster beverage up 1.25 points. Raw stores continuing its momentum, which reminds me, how's Kohl's Cash doing? Oh, finally pulled back a day. And the Gap, yeah, not bad. Allowing the moving averages to catch up. GIL, this one made a new high today. Guild and Activewear, excuse me, it did not. I know what it was. It was up on volume. Yeah, below the 50. So I kind of like this as well. One that I'm watching. If, we can maintain, some momentum. This market's been so choppy. It's like once your stock goes up, you got to sell it because then they rotate into something else. But if it can get above the 50, this is one that, I'd be interested in. Gildan. Okay. What else do we have here? Oh, Abercrombie and Fitch. Another one, man, just still in this base, but man, big move through all the moving averages. You can see the shorter term moving averages driving through the longer term. Yeah, I like that one. RS rating is 34, but if it continues like that, that's going to change in a hurry. And what else we have? Oh, the urban suburban. Yeah. The Urban Cowboy, kind of similar to Abercrombie and Fitch here, just building out the right side of that base. And on both of those, you got to look at, weekly charts. If it's, every time you're looking at to buy something, you got to look at the weekly charts. Straight up off the lows. This one looks good, above 100. Yeah, Abercrombie. Me likey. All right, that's enough of the retail. I've got to move on to something you guys really like. I know everyone loves the oil patch. You're watching Landman. You're getting into the oil business. Anyway, this is Delek Holdings. It made this high of 43.50. Now formed this little bull wedge type pattern, up nearly 3% today. Devon, this is an exploration stock, not a refiner. This one's starting to break out from the base here, up 2%. I want to see. This didn't have quite the weakness that some of the other ones did today. So yeah, I like that. That one held up. Valero, another, this is a refiner, and this one, busting away from that 178.43, slowly but surely. This is not a fast moving stock. It's got a 2.5% dividend yield, so it pays you to hold it. Just, holding up well. These oil and gas plays are holding up well. And Comstock had that bull wedge now moving out, and that one looks good. EQT, this has got natural gas distribution, oil and natural gas. This one you could see still consolidating within a base. Needs some time, but I like that one too. And you got to have the shotgun approach in this market, man. I mean, you got to have a little here and a little there because the rotation just kills you. If you're loaded up on like AI stocks, like I was this morning with Bloom Energy and some of these names getting blown out. Yeah, it's tough to take if you're overloaded in one side, then the market rotates and you're holding the bag, as they say. VNOM, this is Viper Energy. It's a snake Viper. Still consolidating, but it's up on volume above the moving averages. So that's a move not to be ignored. Another exploration stock like Devon. There's quite a few of them here that we're doing well today. FANG, this is Diamondback Energy, up with volume here. So yeah, that's not to be ignored. I kind of like FANG right here. 156 is fine. What was the high today? Yeah, 158's that old, yeah, 158.73 right here, the old high 158 on June 13th. So that's your trigger right there for FANG. If you're interested in buying an oil stock, I just showed you a bunch of them. I like Devon, I like Valero, I like Comstock, and yeah, I like FANG, Diamondback Energy. All right, that's it for that group. I can't go much further without mentioning the gold, silver, copper. These stocks are super strong. This is Agnico Eagle just forming a little base here. You know, these things have been running all year and even into last year. If we take a look at this, was this 2023 broke out of a base here in middle of 24 and it's been running ever since. Now we have another base, late stage base, so they're more vulnerable to breaking down. But keeping my eye on AEM, and those commodities are just super strong. Silver was a strong commodity. This one up another 1%. You can see making a new high after breaking out of a base. Hecla is another Hecla strong stock. 1609 would have been your trigger. Now it's 1710. Hecla looks good. Barrick is going out of its mind here. This one's just breaking out, not looking back. They sold a portion of their business, and the market really liked the deal, I guess. And this thing's been, surfing, the five and moving higher. So that one looks good. ERO, this is one that somebody in the chat mentioned to me. I couldn't help. Hey, breaking out of a base there, 24.48, looking good. Big volume move here, so definitely not to be ignored. The copper play. SKE, this is another Canadian um, mineral name that popping out of a base there. Let me see what base this is. Yeah, this one's been running a long time. Late stage base like AEM, up 2.5%. What else do I have? Oh, Tech, an oldie but goodie. Tech Resources still consolidating, choppy, but up with volume today, not to be ignored. And anyway, a lot of those are doing really, really well. The leisure services stocks, the gambling, casino, and just the leisure services, people enjoying life, spending their money, having a good time. WYNN Resorts up 3% today. Las Vegas Sands, which is not really Las Vegas anymore. Yeah, they operate in Macau. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyway, nice move today, new high. And the other one, the leisure service stock that I like is Viking. It had this fake breakout here last week. Last week was kind of a light volume week, so you got to be careful. Yeah, I ran up to what, 68.60, and then pulled back to the five today. Found support and bounce. Let's see what that looks like on a 5-minute chart. Yeah, there you go. Gap down at the open, kind of like the index. And then we had buyers for most of the session. So Viking still looks good there. 65.37 is the trigger. It's trading above that. All right, I've got to get to this deal here. Synopsis and NVIDIA, big news this morning, the partnership, and gapped up and then kind of sold up. It's still a nice day here, up nearly 5%. NVIDIA, taking a look at the king of AI. This one reported earnings and it had a negative response, and you can see there's been some distribution here in this stock, which you got to be careful. These things don't grow to the sky, and if they're selling it and it's showing weakness, it's below the 50. You can let it, base out here for weeks and weeks. There's no hurry to jump into it just because it was up, nearly $3 today. That one probably going to take time to form a base. Some of the names I was going to put on that didn't. Well, first of all, I put on Taiwan Semi. It's consolidating in a base, trading close to the moving average, which I like. Another one is TSEM, not TSEM. And this one I didn't put on, but it's up 3.5%. And ALAB and AMD both. I like it's got this double bottom pattern, which we saw a lot of being rewarded last week, and then some of them got hammered today. So that's why, you got to be careful. It's making a higher low. I like it more above the 50 than below, but still, can't deny it. Nearly a 4%, 5% gain today. And that 50 today was at 176.17. Didn't quite make it there. And that is probably going to be an area of resistance, but a blast through there, then I'm definitely all in on ALAB, AMD, same thing. I'm waiting for this to get through the 50, and today it closed just a tick below it. I think it was a decent close, though. Yeah. God, I don't know what this last bar is here. I saw quite a few stocks that were up. This is way above it up here at 220.98 and then close at 219.76. So, yeah, the close today was kind of shady. I didn't like the close at all in a lot of names. What else do we have here? Oh, the equipment stocks, Applied Material, very nice, and then ASML. Another one that I like that popped, undercut the 50, then popped. This one actually, worked. A lot of them didn't today. A lot of them, that were working last week in the holiday shortened week, were sold off today. So anyway, the computer data storage getting away from the semiconductors. Micron undercut the 50 one day, closed above, and now it's been up like what, 6 days in a row. That one looks pretty good. STX, another one that had this, it was pretty decent today. And then at the end, this last 15 minutes or so, just cratered. It's 273 down to 270. That's a terrible close. Western Digital did the same here. This thing was up over 165, 165 and a quarter, closes at 163. So a little concerning there. You like to see them close a little stronger than that, but I don't think it has anything to do with tomorrow. If that's what you're wondering, each session is its own entity, but you do want to see them close strong. And then, of course, SanDisk went into the S&P 500 last week. Yeah, it came down 5 something percent today. Not a great day for SanDisk. Now it's below its 21. Had this big move. You can see how it's trading tight, trading tight, trading tight, and all of a sudden it gets wide and loose. Then has this horrific bar in this one day, down $50 or 20%, and it just hasn't recovered. Still below the 21 here. So, anyways, it's a very strong group, but there might be some change in leadership there. SanDisk is up, 500 something percent this year. Some of the data center plays that I like, I'd mentioned about the undercut and rally that some of them did well, some of them didn't. Virtuv was having a good day. Yeah, like most stocks, sold off, gapped down at the open, and then had buyers all day. And then there I go again with the close, right? 181, close at 179. Shenanigans. NVT is another one that I like in this group. Electrical power equipment, it undercut the 50 and rallied. That one looks pretty good. And then EOSE. This is a power equipment group member as well. This one undercut the 50 and trying to get back above. So I'm definitely watching this down 10% today. So yeah, EOSE. TMDX getting back into the medical. I skipped the drugs today. The drugs got hammered. They saw a rotation out of most drug stocks and into those retail names and some of the oil and gas stocks. This is TMDX. You can see it surfing the 5 here. It pulled back to the 5 and bounced today. There you are at the open, the gap down, like everything. Wow, I was down to 142, close at 150. Little hiccup there at the close, not bad though. What was it, 152? Nearly 152, close at 150, not bad. Still consolidating within that stage one base. So I like TMDX a lot. ATEC, I wrote this one down. I don't know why. I made a new high last week. Just pull back to the 5. Yeah, some stocks, like Google, pull back to the 5 today, and I think that could be an opportunity. There's a bunch of them. I might include some of those in the post parade show in the morning. And the last one in this group was GMED, pulling back to the 5 after, it's been consolidating here, moved up. Still got some work to do, but I like GMED. All right. And let me see. Oh, yeah, some of these stocks are looking pretty good. I'm liking App 11. Pattern Rec is picking up on this double bottom base now. It traded above the 50 today, which we like. The high was 624.73 and it closed at 623. So 97% of the daily range. So it didn't have that hiccup at the end like a lot of stocks did. App 11 looks pretty darn good. MGIC, software's been kind of out to lunch since Chat GPT is kind of clip their wings a little bit. So it's been kind of hit and miss. Snowflake, they report um, Wednesday, somebody posted something from Instagram that their CEO, I don't know, you can never trust what you see, because everybody's out there faking stuff. But anyway, it's at its 50. They're going to report. Got to wait for the report on the third. Funny stuff. Palantir, another one, former leader, undercut. It looks like a little double bottom here, but just cannot, no strength, no power there for that one. And then Robinhood, this one held up okay. It's got that double bottom base pattern. It really sold off hard today. Wow, went down below 120. Yeah, 118.86, closed at 123. So $5 off the low. Definitely one that I'm watching here. Want to see it trade through the 50. That would be really nice. And then BE, this is one that just yeah, rallied up to the 21, kind of got rejected there, didn't it? It made another high today, a higher high, but it made a lower low. So you see this is a bearish engulfing candle. I'm very interested to see what happens because this one closed below its 55.5% below its 50. So that's not what you want to see in this stock. It did break trade above its downtrend line, which is a steep downtrend line, and now it's right kind of back at that old, I don't know, you call it a buy point. Pretty tough. I don't know. It's pretty tough to buy there here. 92.73 was the highest. That was a gap day, but it filled that gap already. Made that low of 76 on that tantrum day. It rallied through the 50, now it's below it. So this is a very tough trade here in Bloom Energy. It's not going to be easy for either side, the short or the longs. All right, I think that's it for me. There was some China stuff that did well today. Baba did okay. Baidu did okay. ATAT, yeah, it was up 5%. That's a good day. And then I mentioned that Google and Cipher and Wolf were doing better last week. They were being bought, and now they're being sold. And the other side is doing better. Cipher Mining sold off 3% today. And then Terra Wolf sold off. And the ones that benefited were the other side. Now, the ones that sold off last week, and I shouldn't say sold off, but they were weaker than the other names that were partnered with Google. The Nebius is partnered with Microsoft. Had a nice day today. They're closed above 100. And Iris Energy got an upgrade today, up 1.25%. So, you know, it, it was weaker last week, but it was still up. Okay. So off that low from that tantrum day, but still weaker than the other ones that I just showed you. That's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up. This afternoon, we had earnings reports from a couple of companies that are up quite a bit in after hours. This is MongoDB up nearly 20% on a very strong quarter with the guide. This is a heavy short interest in this one. So yeah, heavy short interest in Mongo. So they're going to get chased out of there. Definitely, that 385.44, the old high is in jeopardy here as it's past that and after hours. So we'll just have to see what comes of it tomorrow. And then CRDO reported a blowout quarter, and they raised earnings estimates significantly. So its old high was 193.50. You can see this one broke above its downtrend line recently. If I could change to the pen here. Yeah, it broke above this little downtrending line and then had a quiet day today, down 3.5% ahead of the print. But after hours, really crushed the numbers, raised guidance. This doesn't have the short interest like MongoDB, but still up 16% after hours with that. And you can see the increasing institutional funds. It's got the Lord on its side, Columbia, T. Rowe, Alger. Oh my God, Federated, and then Will Danoff at Fidelity owns it. Yeah, this one's probably going higher after that report because what Wall Street does is these have these teams that investigate and do their due diligence on these companies, and they expect them to come in at a certain level. And then when they raise the bar of that level, they have to go back and reconfigure their models and raise their price targets. So you're going to get some upgrades on MDB and Credo tomorrow. We'll see how it handles at 200 level. It was trading above 200 we'll just see how it handles that level tomorrow. And what else we have? Oh, I did mention earlier, Signet Jewelers reports in the morning. Looking forward to this. Sold off pretty sharply today. We'll see if it can rally back above with a strong guidance. The guidance is what's important. It's forming this like it's like a long wedge pattern here. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing bounces. We'll have to just wait and see. Wow, massive volume today ahead of the print. People are chicken. But I'm surprised the jewelry group is a top 20 group. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up.